A very good afternoon to one and all. And in today's class, what I am going to deliver is about to make you to understand how to construct the goto function. And here, all of you see the example. All of you see the slide and make a note of this example. For constructing the SLR parser, we are having some following steps. In that following steps, the step number 1 is to format the augmented grammar G dash from the given grammar G, right? And the second one is construction of LR of 0 items. That means there we are constructing or computing two functions. One is an closure of I function and the another one is an goto function. There we are constructing two functions at step number 2. That means after defining what the closure of I, after constructing what the closure of I, then we are constructing the goto function, right? And what the step number 3, finding the first and follow function for the given grammar. And we need to find out the first and follow function and represent the first and follow table. And from the table and from the computations whatever we did, from the closure of I and in goto function, we are taking the outputs of those and we are constructing the parsing table. And that's the fourth step. Construction of the parsing table is the fourth step. These are the four main important steps to construct the SLR parser. And after constructing the parsing table, what we are going to do, we're checking out just by parsing the input string by implementing with the stack. And then what the last step is here, what the last step here is, here we need to construct the finite automata, constructing the corresponding finite automata from the computations itself. And the automaton, it should be an NFA or DFA, whatever it may be. Finally, we are showing the graph structure. The representation in the form of graph can be called as an finite automata, right? These are the main important steps that we need to follow when we are constructing the SLR parsing table, where it is the most important parsing technique under the LR parsers from the bottom up parsing. And consider the given grammar. All of you make a note of this grammar. Make a note of this grammar. This is the given grammar G. And here, by considering the given grammar G, what the step number 1? After knowing from the grammar what the starting symbol it is. See here, from the grammar, what the starting symbol is. From the grammar, what the starting symbol is? S. S is the starting symbol, right? And here, by using this S, where S is the starting symbol from the given grammar G, we need to format the augmented grammar. We need to construct the augmented grammar. Construction in means here we are not following the step-by-step process. Construction or formation of the augmented grammar is just we are adding an new additional rule for the modified grammar, for the given grammar, right? And we are calling that grammar as a modified grammar. For the given grammar, what we are doing here is we are just adding an additional production rule. That adding the addition of new production rule can be called it as an augmented grammar. From where we are writing this, from where we are writing this new production rule, from the starting symbol of the given grammar, we are formatting the grammar G dash like this, right? For why we are using this is the main intention of using this augmented grammar is to make acceptance of the input string, And step number 1 is completed. By knowing the starting symbol of the given grammar, just I add a new production rule like this, S dash tends to S, right? And now what the modified grammar G dash is, this is the given grammar. After formatting the augmented grammar, then the grammar becomes a modified grammar G dash. Now what the G dash grammar is, along with this augmented grammar production rule, we need to write the remaining rules from the grammar G. That means S dash tends to S, S tends to AABE, A tends to ABC, A tends to B, B tends to D, right? How many rules that we're having in G dash? How many rules? 5 rules we're having. 5 production rules we're having from the grammar G dash, right? Here, step number 1 is completed just by formatting the augmented grammar. Now, what the step number 2? Computing closure of I. What it means is, here I am collecting the set of items just by computing the closure of I. Collecting the set of items. That collection of set of items can be called as a canonical set of items. We're calling it as a canonical set of items. How I am computing this closure of I? Just whatever the rules that we're having in the grammar G dash. See, we're having the 5 rules in the G dash, right? Just write down here. Write down all the 5 rules here. And how to compute the closure of I means, just place or insert the dot symbol. Insert the dot symbol at the first, at the right hand side. First appearing symbol at the right hand side. Did you get the point? What we are doing is, just we are computing the closure. How we are computing the closure here? Here it is the S dash is on left hand side and S is on right hand side in the production rule. S dash is on left hand side and S is on right hand side in the production rule. And how we are computing this closure of I means, just placing the dot at the starting of the right hand side in the rule. Starting of the right hand side in the rule. Like this. See, the rule is having the starting end and the ending end. Start and end, two sides we are having from the RHS. It is the starting part. It is the starting part. And here it is an ending part. And for this rule, it is the starting part, and after E, it is an ending part, right? What it means is, the RHS consisting of two ends. One is an start end and another one is an end. We start part and the another one is an end part. And where we are placing these dots means, at the starting of the RHS, we are placing these dots. See, S dash tends to dot S tends to dot A tends to dot ABC, A tends to dot B tends to dot C, dot D. What it means is, after tends to, the first appearing symbol should be an dot. After tends to, from the LHS, after tends to, the first, to read the RHS, the first appearing symbol should be a dot in each and every production rule from the given grammar, right? Is it clear? This is the way of computing the closures, just by placing the dot at the right hand side of the production rule. Dot at the starting of the right hand side in the production rule, right? This is the computation of I. And now I have to name for it. I have to give the name for this set of collection, and I am collecting the I's. I means items. I am collecting the items, right? So I am performing the closure operation here. So closure operation for the items. These are all the items here. So these are all the set of rules in one item, and just I am giving the name for this with an sequence number 0 I naught. Sequence number 0 I naught. This set belongs to item number 0. This set of rules, this collection of rules belongs to item number 0, right? And initially, from the closure of I itself, I need to define the starting number of the item. I am starting with the I naught. Is it clear? This is the computation of closure. Now, after giving the item number to the set of rules from the closure of I, now I need to start the go to computation. I need to start the go to computation. This is most important construction. Please, all of you, listen carefully. Here I am performing the go to computation. Go to off. Go to off. Initially, from the closure, I am having the set consisting of collection of rules. The set consisting of some set of rules. It is a collection of set of rules, right? That we can call it as a canonical set of rules. So I named this set with the I naught. So initially I am having an item I naught from the closure. I naught from the closure. Now from the I naught, I need to perform the go to operation just by calling the item number along with the symbol. Why I am calling it as a symbol means, sometimes it may be directly a non-terminal and sometimes it may be a terminal. So I am performing the go to function but for the both terminal and the non-terminal by calling with the item numbers. See here, I am having 5 rules in I naught. Make a note of this. I am having 5 rules. I need to compute the go to function for all these 5 rules. See, I'm calling the goto function goto of I naught, where initially I'm having an item 0, right? I naught comma s. Why I'm calling this s means from the starting rule itself I need to check it out. After dot, I'm processing the variables. I'm processing the dot symbol now. And after dot, what the variable here it is? S, right? We can initially call it as an, what the symbol here it is an S, where S is an non-terminal, where S is an non-terminal. So I am checking for the other rules whether we are having the S dot S in any other rules like here. No rules consisting of with an dot S. Only the rule number 1 consisting of dot S. So now I call the function goto of I naught comma S. And now before processing, the production rule looks like this. The production rule looks like this. That means the dot is placed at the starting of the right hand side. Now after performing the goto function with I naught comma S, this is after processing. This is after processing. How the production rule looks like now? S dash tends to S dot. What it mean? The dot moves forward when I perform the goto function for the symbol S, right? Because initially from I naught it is dot S. After the dot I'm having the symbol S. So I'm calling that by using the goto function, where it is in the item number 0. In item number 0. So I'm taking I naught with S. So I'm calling the goto function I naught with S. That means S dash tends to S dot, where it is a new rule. Where it is a new rule. That means this rule is does not consisting in the I naught set. That's why we're taking it as a new rule and naming with the I1. We're considering this production rule as a new rule, and we're naming with another item number that is an I1, right? And now again check in I naught. Now I compute for the S. I compute the goto function for the S. Now in second rule, after dot, what the symbol is here? A, small a, that is in terminal. Again I'm checking in the remaining rules, is there any symbol like this? That means dot a production, dot a is there in any production rule? Just I'm checking for that. There are no productions with an dot a. Only this rule is consisting of an dot a. So goto of this rule belongs to I naught set, right? I naught comma, and which symbol I'm calling here? A. I naught with A, right? I naught with A. And this is before processing. That means the dot appears at the front of the A before processing. After processing, see the production rule. The dot moves forward. That means the dot appears after the terminal A. Before processing, it is before the terminal A, and after processing with the goto function, it is after. That means what it is we done the processing. We done the processing by calling the goto function with the item along with the symbol, and here the symbol is an terminal, right? So when we perform such type of an goto function, then what will happen is the dot will move forward. The dot will move forward. And here see, here you all should make a note. It's an important point that I'm explaining now. And after the dot, after processing, the dot moves forward, right? And this is the production rule. After processing, this is the production rule. Then after the dot, what we're having here, it is a non-terminal. If we're having a non-terminal after processing the dot, if you have the non-terminal like this, then you need to write the corresponding production rules for that non-terminal from the I naught. From the I naught. What it means is, here after dot I am having a non-terminal A, right? And see in I naught what the rules of the A are. A tends to dot ABC, A tends to dot B. These are the rules under the variable A, right? And if you are having the constraint like this, after processing, the dot moves forward by calling the terminal A here, right? And after dot, what the symbol is here? It is a non-terminal. If you are having such type of an constraint, what we need to do is just write down the production rules of the A from the I naught. From the I naught. That means from the I naught. That means A tends to dot ABC, A tends to dot B. And we should not process the dot forward. We should not process the dot forward. Just write down as it is from the I naught. Write down the rules of A as it is from the I naught. No need to change those. No need to change those. Here only we perform the goto function for the terminal itself, for the A itself. We're not perform for this capital A and B, right? And here we're having a constraint there. So for that constraint, what we are doing here is, if you have the rule like this after processing, if you have the rule like this after processing, that means after dot, if it is a non-terminal, then for the corresponding non-terminal, write the productions of that particular variable like this. From where we are taking those? From the I naught, from the I naught, right? And then every rule A tends to dot ABC, A tends to dot B is already in the set of I naught. But here we're having an extra production rule, that is S tends to A dot ABE. This is not in the I naught and this is not in the I1. So this is a new production rule that we generated now. So for the set, for the overall set, we are giving the item number I2. We are giving the item number I2. Is it clear, all of you? Don't get confused. It is very easy to understand, and listen clearly what I am saying. And once go for I naught, go for I naught. And now up to now I complete the goto function for the S and the goto function for the terminal A, right? And see in third rule, after dot what we are having, it is an A, it is an A. And now I am taking I naught with A, I naught with A, because that rule is in the set I naught. And which variable, which symbol I am calling now? A. What it means? Here the dot is present before the A. Now after processing it should move forward. That means it should present after the A, after performing the goto function. See, A tends to A dot BC, right? A tends to A dot BC. And again, this is not in I2, this is not in I1, or this is not in I naught. This is a new production rule that we generated by performing the goto of I naught with A. So just give the name I3. Give the new item number I3, right? And now in I naught, still we are having two more production rules to be processed. And now I am calling I naught with small b. I naught with small b. And A tends to B dot. Before it is dot B, and after processing it becomes an B dot. Again, this is a new production rule, just, and we are giving with the new item number I4. And see the last production in the set I naught, B tends to dot D. That means we need to call the goto function with I naught comma small d, right? I naught with D. And there before processing it is B tends to dot D, and after processing it is B tends to D dot. Again, this rule is also a new production rule. So give it with an just give the new number, that is I5. Now it is an item number 5, right? Is it clear? And whatever the rules that we are having, whatever the rules that we are having in I naught set, means we are having only 5 rules. We processed all these 5 rules in the I naught. We processed all these 5 rules in the I naught just by calling the goto function item with the symbol. Is it clear now? Now I naught, the set of rules in the I naught was completed. Now I'm checking for I1. I'm checking for I1. Is there any symbols to be processed here? See, S dash tends to S dot. There is no more. See the rule, S dash tends to S dot. And what it mean? What it mean? The dot is ended to the right hand side. The dot is ended in the right hand side of the production rule. So no more rule at the right hand side. So no need to do goto function for such type of production rules. For such type of production rules, no need to do the goto function. That means the production number 1 from the grammar G dash just by performing or just by processing with an goto function is completed. The processing of the goto function is completed for this production rule, right? Now check it in I2. Now I'm going for I2. I2 consisting of 3 rules, 3 production rules. And see here, I2 is having dot A here, and I2 is having dot A here, and I2 is having dot B. What it means is, in 2 rules we are having dot A condition. In 2 rules we are having dot A condition. That means we need to perform the goto function by calling I2 with A. I2 with capital A. That means I2 with the variable A. And when I'm performing the goto function for I2 with A, here I need to take these 2 rules. Here I need to process for these 2 rules. See, I2 with A, and before it is A dot A. Now after processing it is AA dot BE, right? And A tends to dot A, and after processing it is A tends to A dot BC, right? And what is this B tends to dot D? What is this B tends to dot D? In here, when I am performing the goto of I0 with A, there I said an condition or constraint. All of you should make a note. I said there. What it is here, see, after processing this production rule, once read down this production rule, A dot BE, what it means is, after dot there is a non-terminal. After dot there is a non-terminal. What it means is, we need to write the corresponding production rules from the I0 for this variable B. From the I0 for this variable B. From the I0 we are having the rule for B is B tends to dot D, right? B tends to dot D. So directly we are writing B tends to dot D here. B tends to dot D. And check here, it is dot B. B is a terminal, so no need to write anything. If you are having the non-terminal only, we need to write down like that. We need to take the productions from the I0 and just place here. Direct productions without processing anything. And here we are only processing for the variable A, right? So in production number 1 we proceed, in production number 2 we proceed. Why we are writing this production means, here in production number 1, after processing, after the dot we are having the non-terminal. So for that we are writing the production of the B from the I0. And all these 2 are new production rules. This is an old one, but the set consisting of the new production rules. So we need to give the item number 6. We need to give the item number 6, right? And see here, these 2 in I2 is completed. I processed for these 2 production rules by calling the goto function. And here A tends to dot B. That means we need to compute the goto for I2 comma small b. I2 comma small b. And if I compute goto of I2 comma small b, when already I done a computation with I0 comma b. See here, A tends to B dot. This is the output, the same output I am getting here when I compute with an I2 comma b. And I'm not repeating the same production rules, right? So directly I'm giving the existing item number here. Already existing, it is an already existing item number here. So I am writing the existing item number 4 at goto of I2 comma B, where this is an existing, already existed item number. If you write again, then you will get confused when you are drawing or constructing the parsing table. So not to get confused, just we are eliminating or rectifying such type of duplicates. So directly we are giving the item number here because it was already constructed here by calling the goto of I0 comma B. It is A tends to B dot. And when I perform goto of I2 comma B, whatever the rule I will get, it is also an A tends to B dot. Both the productions are same at I0 with B and I2 with B. So directly I am taking the I4 where it is an existing item number 4. And now I2 is completed. In I2 for all the 3 production rules, I done the processing. And check for the I3. Here I3 is having B. After dot we are having B, right? Now goto of I3 comma B. Now I'm performing the goto function I3 comma B. And this is before processing. After processing, it looks like this. A tends to AB dot C. where A tends to AB dot C is a new production. So the continuation sequence number here, it is an I6. Now it is an I7. I7. Now the I3, in I3 there are no more production rules to be processed. Only we're having one rule. By calling the goto function, I done the processing for that I3 with an B. And check in the I4. I4 is completed. Nothing is there to be processed in item number 4. And check in I5, nothing is there to be processed in item number 5. Why? Because at the right hand side the dot is ended. At the right hand side of the rule the dot is ended. There are no more rules in the RHS. And here also the right hand side the dot is ended. Nothing is there to be processed here. So these two are completed. So no need to process again and again I4 and I5. Now check in I6. In I6 we are having dot B, we are having dot B, and we are having dot D. That means we are having three different symbols here, three different symbols to be processed. So at first I am calling I6 with capital B, I6 with capital B, and before processing it is S tends to AA dot BE, then after processing it becomes B dot E, right? B dot E. After dot it is in terminal, so directly the production is a new production. I am giving with a new number I8, right? And now in I6 I am having the another production rule B. Now I am performing the goto function with I6 comma small b. Then this is before processing. After processing it looks like AB dot C. See, it was already completed in I7 where it is having the item number 7. That means when I perform the goto function with I3 comma B, I get A tends to AB dot C. There itself I gave the I7 as a new item number. But here again, if I call the goto function for the I6 comma B, the same production is getting, the same production rule that I am getting in I6 with B. So directly what I am doing, I am writing this existing item number I7 here. So to eliminate the duplicates, I am directly taking the item numbers here. Understand? And I6 with D, I6 with D, B D dot, it was already completed at goto of I0 with D by giving the item number I5. So when I am performing the goto function I6 with small d, it after processing it looks like B tends to D dot. That means it is an I5. So directly I am writing I5 here. I5 here, right? And check in I7. I6 is completed, I4 is already completed, no need to process, and this is an I7 item. Here after dot what we are having C. So now I need to perform the goto function for I7 comma C. I7 comma C. Then before processing it is A tends to AB dot C. Then after processing it becomes A tends to ABC dot. That means it is a new production, and I am giving an item number I9 for this. By giving the item number I9, I am defining that it is a new item. And next, checking in I8. Here after dot we are having E. So you need to perform the goto function for I8 comma E, right? Then this is before processing S tends to AA B dot E, and after processing it becomes S tends to AA BE dot. Again this is also a new production rule. This is also a new production rule, and giving the new item number I10, right? And with this the new items I processed for all the new items, so no more new items are there. So with this I stopped the construction of goto function. Then how can I clearly understand that the overall process was completed, the overall computation for the goto function is completed? Means I am checking one by one. That means S dash tends to dot S is from the I0, it should becomes an S dot. S tends to dot AA BE is an from I0. Then after processing or after computing the goto functions, by taking the new items, by giving with a new item numbers, finally my production should end at the E. The dot should end at E. That means the production looks like S tends to AABE dot, right? And here A tends to dot ABC is in I0. Then after performing all the computations, then finally I need C dot, ABC dot, and it is A tends to B dot. B tends to D dot. And I need at starting itself, starting of the closure function. That means starting computation of the closure function. Initially, it is at the starting of the right hand side. And after performing the goto function, this dot must proceeds to the end of the right hand side. This dot should move forward and it proceeds to the end of the right hand side. Is it clear? Is it clear? So now I am checking for that. Rule number 1, S dash tends to S dot here. Now I'm checking whether the dot is ended or not. S dash tends to S dot. In item number 1, the processing is completed for this rule. And what the rule number 2, S tends to dot AABE. And I'm checking that where S tends to AABE is the processor for that production rule is completed. See here at item number 10, S tends to AABE dot means initially it is at starting of the rule, and now after performing all the computations, now it is ending of the right hand side. Right? Is it clear? And what the rule number 3, A tends to ABC. That means in I0 it is A tends to dot ABC. In I9, at I9C, A tends to ABC dot. That means we processed all these productions. So no need to process again and again. No need to process again and again. That means the whatever the goto functions we computed in the computations, the canonical set of items shows that we processed all the productions from the given grammar. And see this one, A tends to dot B. At item number 4, it is B dot. Means this rule was processed. And B tends to dot D. At item number 5, B tends to D dot. What it means is this production was processed by calling with an goto of I0 with an D. So no more productions are left in the from the given grammar. We done the processing, we perform or we compute the goto function for each and every item that we defined while performing the computations along with the symbols. Right? Is it clear how to compute the goto function? And finally, how many items that we get means from I0 to I0, I0 to I10, I0 to 0 to 9 items that we generate from this grammar by performing the goto operation. Right? Is it clear all of you how to construct the goto function? This is the process of computing the goto function. Just by calling item number along with the symbols. The symbol may be an terminal at one time and may be an non-terminal at one time. See here with I0 I call an non-terminal. Here with I0 I call an terminal. So just I am naming it with an symbols. The symbol includes both the terminals and the non-terminals. Is it clear? And after construction of this goto function, then what the next step is? Finding out the first and follow function. So for this grammar, modified grammar G dash, you need to represent a table. That table is an first and follow table. The table is an first and follow table. That means put a column productions and the second column is the first function and the third column is the follow function, and write down all the productions here. What the first of S dash, what the first of S, first of A, first of B, what the follow of S dash, follow of S, follow of A, follow of B. Means you need to write the outputs of these non-terminals. We are only constructing the first and follow for only the left hand side variables. That means for the non-terminals, we are constructing the first and follow function. So in the table, we need an outputs of these non-terminals for the first function and the follow function. This concept was already we learned in the predictive parsing, that is LL-of-1 parsing table, LL-of-1 parsing technique. So you all are well understand there how to construct the first and follow function. So after computing the goto function, what the next step is finding out the first and follow for the modified grammar G dash. And just by representing a table for the first and follow, you should construct for the given modified grammar, not for the grammar, for the modified grammar. That means the grammar should include the augmented production rule with an S dash tends to S, right? And after constructing this table, first and follow table, then basing on this first and follow table and basing on the computations that we done in a goto function, by basing on all these, what we are doing is we are constructing the parsing table by using these computations and by using the first and follow outputs. Right, is it clear? And then after completion of the parsing table, then by parsing an input string, we will check it out whether the string was acceptable for the given grammar or not. Whatever the string we are taking, that string is acceptable for the given grammar or not. We're going to check just by parsing the input string by implementing with an stack. And the final thing is just representing an graph. That graph is nothing but an automaton. That graph represents, the representation of that graph is nothing but an automaton. It may be an finite NFA, or it may be an DFA. It is an finite automaton. The representation is an finite automaton representation. Now, up to now, we complete 3 steps. 3 steps in the sense, overall 2 steps from the following 4. That means in step number 1, formation of augmented grammar. In step number 2, computing closure and the goto function. And step number 3 is finding out the first and follow function. For this grammar, you all should write down what the first function output for the non-terminals and what the follow function output for the non-terminals. Then in the next class, I will explain how to construct the parsing table, and then I will show how the stack implementation is done by parsing with an input string. For this example, the continuation part is the step number 3. You all should represent the first and follow table, and all of you make a note of this exercise. Example number 1. E tends to E plus T or T tends to T star F or F tends to open parenthesis, E closed parenthesis, or ID or num. For this example, for the next class, you construct step number 1, step number 2, and step number 3. That means format the augmented grammar and then construct or compute the closure of I, and then construct the goto function, and then find the first and follow. Right. And in next class, I will explain how to construct the parsing table for this example, for the continuation of this example. After knowing the construction of the parsing table, again, you all should construct the parsing table for this example, for the exercise problem. Right. So what I need is, after understanding the concept of how to construct the SLR parsing table, just by taking this example, you all implement the three steps. Step number 1, 2, and 3. And the last 4th step, I will explain in tomorrow class.